Yo, what's going on everybody? XpertGamer here, bringing you guys my Dragon Ball Super Episode 2 review. You guys showed a lot of support on Episode 1, and that brought in some new subscribers, so what's up to all you guys? And another thing that I would like to address before I get started is that you guys were repeatedly telling me in the comments of Episode 1 that there was a sub out. And what you guys have to understand is that I record these the day the episode goes live, so there's no sub out. Usually it's up tomorrow morning, and I was fully aware that the sub for episode 1 had came out. I'd watched it before anybody let me know in the comments, but if you were one of the people who told me about it, thanks for looking out. But I know when and where the sub episode comes out, and if you guys would like to know too, check the video in the description titled How to Watch Dragon Ball Super Live Every Week. But without further ado, let's get into the episode 1 review. So, we knew from the end of episode 1's airing that this episode was going to be called Vegeta Goes on a Family Trip, followed by a few clips from this episode regarding Vegeta and his family having fun, well, just Bulma and Trunks having fun, because Vegeta obviously did not want to go at this resort, I'll call it. But what we did not see in that snippet is more Beerus action. Come to find out, towards the end of the episode, we have Beerus doing more cool things, just like in episode 1, and then talking about his dream. But episode 2 starts out on King Kai's planet, as that is where Goku instant transmission to at the end of episode 1 to go train finally. Chi-Chi let him go because Mr. Satan gave him the 100 million Zenny Peace Prize, so that means Goku doesn't have to stay home and work. And I think that this was kind of funny. King Kai was driving his car with Gregory and Bubbles as Goku teleports right in the path that they're driving, and King Kai knocks out half of his house. Now, the funny part about this was, after Goku was the one that completely caused the crash, he ate King Kai's food and left King Kai stuck to repair his own house. After this, they began their training. Now we're gonna get into the family trip part of the episode. Here we see Trunks, Bulma, and Vegeta all together shopping, having a good time. Now what I really liked about this part is that they had a flashback to the moment in Dragon Ball Z where Vegeta and Trunks were training. The part where Vegeta tells him if he can land a punch on his face, he'll take Trunks to the park. Now I just think that's really cool how they have flashbacks, like how in episode 1 it showed the flashback to the defeat of Kid Buu. So this episode, in my opinion, it's looking pretty good so far. And then we have more comedy. So Vegeta obviously doesn't really want to be at that trip until they start eating. They have whole pigs on their plate, whole fish, and even a whole squid. And Vegeta, getting ahead of himself, pulls its tentacle to eat, I'm assuming, and ink covers his entire body. Now, at this point of the episode, I thought Vegeta was just going to blow up the entire resort. He was shaking all the windows, plates were breaking, he was so angry that he was covered in ink, but luckily Bulma and Trunks were able to calm him down, thankfully. Now we get to the more story part of the episode, where we see Beerus and Whis on a planet whom I don't know its name or anything about it, and I don't think that they were here in search of the Super Saiyan God, because they brought up the God and mentioned it at the end of the episode. But yeah, they were here provoking the leader of this planet, it seems, to fight Beerus, and this answered the question I've been having ever since we saw the first trailer. Who is the Red Bull that Beerus was fighting? It was the little yellow dude, and then he transformed into the Red Bull, and we see him fight Beerus. I don't even know if I should call it a fight. He just attempted everything, his strongest attacks, and then Beerus just killed him at the very end of it and blew up the entire planet. So after Beerus had blown up the planet and all of the extra dust and rubble that was floating throughout space, he saw an outline of a man who I presume to be the Super Saiyan God, because he starts talking about the dream he had to Whis, and that begins Beerus' search for the Super Saiyan God. So that is pretty much all that happens in episode 2. If you guys would like to see what goes on in episodes 3, 4, and 5, make sure to check out the video in the description. There's more details. I talk about the first saga. The episode titles came out and we could get an accurate description of what's going to be happening throughout those episodes. But yeah, this was a pretty decent episode, but the only thing that we really got out of it were just the last few minutes of it. But still, it was a pretty decent episode in whole, even the comedy parts. But tell me what you guys think about this episode in the description below. I'm XpertGamer. Peace out, everybody.